Well, good afternoon. It's almost 4 o'clock. I'm in Madison, Nebraska. So here's the plan. I'm going to drop this at our yard in Garden City, Kansas, because it's going to Clinton, Oklahoma, but it's not due till Monday, and it is Friday, 3:53 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to drop this in Garden City, then I'm going to deadhead down to Cactus, Texas. I'm going to pick up a load. I'm going to take it to Greeley, Colorado, to our Greeley yard. Is this guy selling fruit and vegetables or something? Huh. Chips. Some of those Mexican drinks. Probably for the workers coming out of Tyson. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm probably talking too low. I'm going to take that cactus load to Greeley, Colorado, and then I'm going to clean this truck out, drive my Jeep home. So I should be home, well, let's see, I'll have to take a 10-hour break somewhere between here and Greeley. Probably when I get to Cactus. I'll be able to get from here to Garden City to Cactus, Texas. It's not that far, really, from Madison, Nebraska. And yeah, I'll probably take a 10-hour break there, or maybe Stratford, Texas, or Boise City, Oklahoma. Somewhere around there. So I'm figuring I'll be home Sunday night, Monday morning. I just talked to the guys at the Alaska company. One of the owners actually lives in Idaho, because they run the lower 48 as well. They kind of specialize in running freight back and forth between the lower 48 and Alaska, and they run, you know, they got haul road business as well. So, he's talking about maybe bringing my truck down to Idaho. So if he does that, well, I hate coming out of here loaded because it's uphill for a minute. Can't get any speed up. If he does that, then I'll probably just have my wife drive me up to Idaho, and I can bring all my stuff, because I really don't want to drive my pickup all the way to Fairbanks. That's a long drive. That's 4,000 miles from my house. Not to mention, you know, the gas and such. But if she can drive me to Idaho, man, that'd be a lot better. And she's got a smaller vehicle than that Tundra I've got, so get better gas mileage. Not that anybody cares, but I'm putting it out there anyway. I'm not one of these guys that thinks that I got people out there wondering or worrying about what I'm doing. But I'm just saying. Noise is, something's rattling, plastic. These trucks all got so much plastic on them. And there's no rubber grommets or anything between the plastic. So anyway, first world problems. I know there's starving kids in Kenya or somewhere. I don't think they want to eat plastic though. Anyways, that is the plan for now, and it is 45 degrees at almost 4 p.m. in the evening in February in Nebraska. It was in the 50s last night. So we're back to the unusually warm weather again. I had the air conditioner on yesterday for a minute, but I told you that in the last video. So I repeat myself, I'm old. we're going to get down here ASAP. The garden, that is. Which is, I don't know, 300 something miles. So what's funny is my last week here, I'll probably get about 3,800 miles, which is good. You know, I can use that. I can use that money, that's for sure. This will be a good week. These are good people. I have to say, they got good equipment. The work's pretty easy, and you can get some dang good miles. So I figured I'd do a daylight video. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I really wasn't planning on doing a video till, I don't know, till a couple of minutes before I fired it up. But here we are. And it's a nice drive up there to Idaho. I don't think my wife's ever been to Idaho. She's been to Colorado several times, but I don't think she's ever been to Idaho. Like very nice people, you know, people I'm going to work for. They really been, I mean, really after me to hire me. I really don't know why, but I think I said that in the other video. It just seemed, I don't know, it just seemed like it was meant for me to go there. I mean, was it a God thing? I don't know. Sometimes I think we put too much on God, you know. Not that God can't. I mean, God can do whatever he wants. He's God, you know. But my point is, sometimes, well, God wanted me to do this, and God wanted me to do that. I don't know. Does God want me to go to work? Is God really concerned where I work? I don't know. But it just seemed like the right thing to do because, like I said, I've been talking to these guys off and on like we're old friends. And I've never even seen them face to face. They've never seen me face to face. The only thing they've seen of me is my driver's license picture. And, you know, nobody looks good in their driver's license picture. Now, they're on my Facebook. They found me on Facebook, so, which is fine. I mean, Facebook's public. A lot of people get uptight with that. You know, a lot of companies, when I went to work at Alaska, they were on my Facebook. They jumped on it. Your social media is public, right? Just like your name is basically public. It's not, you know, it's not a secretive thing. I mean, you can make it private if you want. But unless you do, it's public. Anybody can go on there. Now, it doesn't mean you have to accept their friend request, but they can send you one. I just never understood people who got all upset about that. Oh, this person's on my Facebook, so well, make it private or block them. But anyway, and I've said this in previous videos, we've been talking off and on talking about putting me in is a haul road truck. It's built for the Dalton Highway. But I can run it down here. That stupid thing. I won't miss that stupid beeping. So I can run it down here, run it up the Dalton, whatever. But it's geared kind of low because it is built for the Dalton. So I'm not going to be winning any races in it. But, you know, guys, hey, you can do over 70 on it. Look at this guy. Shut up! Could not wait for me to go around him. Could not wait for me to go around him. Now we're going to have a race. Not even that close. Well, let's see if I can do it this time. Or is he going to find another reason why he's got to jump in front of me? No? Alright. Anyway, but you know, guys said you're not going to win any races with it, but you know, you can do over 70 in it. He said, but it is geared for pulling hills and, you know, running the Dalton. It's geared for the Arctic. It's an Arctic truck. Which means it'll be sweating down here. Now it gets pretty warm, especially in Fairbanks. It's funny, Fairbanks obviously is further north than Anchorage, but Fairbanks gets hotter. Fairbanks can break 90 in the summer. It can get pretty warm. But since I'm starting this late in the winter, chances are I'll be, if and when I do run the haul road, it's going to be in the spring, you know. So it's going to be more summer-like stuff. But that's all right. It'll get me back into the swing of the haul road before winter starts. If I even go up there, you know, I just don't know. It's all kind of up in the air. All I know and all they know is that they want me to come to work there, and I want to get back to running Alaska, and so here we are. And the rest of it will work out. We're kind of just winging it, I guess. Which is a big, I guess you could kind of say a culture shock. Any guys, American drivers, and probably Canadian drivers as well, but especially American lower 48 drivers, it doesn't work like that, right? It doesn't work like that. Nor, you know, it's a process to get a job driving a truck. You got to have a background check and a drug test, and they got to run your record and all that. I mean, it's an anal exam, man. Anybody who's done the trucking industry, let me tell you something. I've gone through enough background checks. I should have a Class A security clearance with the federal government. And not just me, anybody out here who's been driving, right? I mean, they check you left and right, up and down. That's why it infuriates me when you have these illegal drivers out here, because there's no reason for that. The crap we have to go through to go to work, that CDL is a state-issued license, but it's federal. So anyway, Alaska's a bit more laid back. Now, of course, they're still part of the United States, so there's still things that they have to do, but at the same time, it's also Alaska, and, you know, it's a bit more laid back. Like, I asked him about a drug test. He said, oh, yeah, we're going to do a drug test. He said, but our insurance says we can put you in a truck before we get the results back if we're confident that you're not on drugs. And I know that's true because when I worked in Alaska, we hired a guy like that. They drug tested him, put him in a truck. He ran a trip somewhere, I don't remember where. Came back, he failed the drug test, had to fire him. Now, had he gotten in an accident, Could that have been a problem? Possibly. But the insurance companies in Alaska are a little more relaxed simply because it's Alaska. So there's certain things that you can get away with up there that you necessarily can't get away with down here. And that's one of them. You can put a guy in a truck, as long as you drug test him. You don't have to wait for the results. As long as he's been drug tested, you can put him in a truck. If he passes, fine. If he doesn't, then you got to fire him. But you got to understand something too, especially if you're running the Dalton. It's not if you're going to get in an accident, it's when. And when I say accident, I mean sliding off the road or something. It's going to happen. Everybody up there's done it, or they're going to do it. So, you know, I'm not going to say it's not a big deal, but it's not. It's something that every company up there knows is going to happen, or there's a very high likelihood it's going to happen. And it could be your best driver, it could be a brand new driver, whatever. It's going to happen. And that's what I mean by I don't mean laxed as in they don't care who they hire. I mean laxed as in, you know, the insurance companies understand that you're dealing in an area of harsh conditions, dangerous roads, and, you know, there are things that have to be done, and there are things that you have to put up with up there that you might not necessarily have to deal with in a traditional lower 48 trucking company. Although, I mean, you get some of these guys hauling some of these massive loads, and, you know, they come with their own challenges down here and up there. They've got some massive loads going up and down the Dalton Highway. In fact, when I worked in Alaska, the guy running our shop, who was a driver, he brought, I believe it was a 737 down the haul road. Now, they didn't have the wings on it, but he brought the rest of the fuselage. You know, he brought it all the way down to Dalton, all the way down, I believe, to Willow, which is north of Anchorage, north of Wasilla, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm not mistaken, he got a Guinness Book of World Records for the largest load brought down the Dalton Highway. And they didn't disassemble it. All it did was take the wings off. He brought the entire plane down the Dalton. So there's been some massive loads come down the Dalton Highway. I've seen some big ones where you had to pull off, you know, because it was just too wide for traffic. Which is why everybody up there is running the radio. But at the same time, guys aren't acting the fool on it. They're not playing their stereo over it. You know, I tried to listen to CB the other night. I had it on for 5 minutes. Here comes somebody playing music over it. I said, yep, that's it. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to that. That's why people don't use the CBs anymore down here, because you got a bunch of children out here who do crap like play the stereo over it, or they just sit there and needlessly bump their gums. Now you can have a conversation with people like going up to Dalton, but usually you do that on the other radio, on the VHF radio, and you have a certain channel you go to, so you got both radios going, so you can hear what's going on, and you can have a conversation with your buddy that you're running with. My understanding is he took that plane down to Willow and they made it like a bed and breakfast or something out of it. I don't remember exactly. Something like that. I will not sit here and try to tell you that I am an oversized load guy. I'm not. I've done 2 oversized loads in my life. One was a bulldozer and one was a big front end loader. And neither one of them were long trips. They weren't like OTR trips. So I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that I'm an expert on oversized loads. I'm not. Not even close. I've done just enough of it to know that it's a job. I mean, it's work. Just the preparation, putting the trailers together. I've done that many times for other drivers. Putting those trailers together is work. And if you don't think it's work, you don't know what you're talking about. It is. This will be mostly flatbed work, although he does have a reefer down here. I think it's going to be mostly flatbed work. Which I've done some flatbed work. So we'll see how that goes. My only problem is my rotator cuff in my left shoulder is about wore out. I used to lift weights a lot back in the day. So I have trouble throwing chains over tires, and I have trouble with flatbed work to a point, but you know, we'll do what we can do. Person up here is doing 62 mile an hour in a 65. 62. Lord have mercy. Oh, they hit 63 there for a second. Well, we're about to come into town and then I'm on a turn, so. You just wonder the mentality of people like this. I don't know, you're on a 2-lane road. I always thought it's just, if you're on a 2-lane road, it's just respectful to at least drive the speed limit. I mean, unless you got like a load or something, there's some legitimate reason why you can't. Oh, for crying out loud. This stupid thing. God almighty, I can't stand to hear that thing go off. I'm not even that close to him. I get it if you're not in a hurry, but I just think on a 2-lane road, especially kind of a busy road like this, it's kind of your responsibility. You got other people behind you, and it's hard to pass, which I'm going to be turning up here anyway. But, drive the speed line. Like I said, if I'm doing 68 and 65 and I run up on you and you're doing 65, he's doing 65, that's fair enough. But if you're doing 61, 62, I mean, come on, man. I hit the turn signal for a second. Stupid thing's gonna keep going off. I'm this far away from them. Can't stand that thing. There's no need to slow down too much, man. You're already doing, close to the speed limit coming into town. I don't know, maybe I'm always in too big of a hurry or something. I don't know. Oh, for crying out loud, give me a chance to get slowed down. Damn. God, this stupid thing. I didn't know they were going to do 39 and a 45. Oh my God, would you shut up? License plate said one grandson. I don't know if that means that they're a grandmother or a grandfather. They got one grandson, or if they are the one grandson. I don't know. Not sure what they were trying to say there. I better wait for this pickup. grandsons and a granddaughter. So. But I don't have it on my license plate. I've never had a personalized license plate. These are the ones I love, the personalized license plate people. Some guy's got a Corvette, right? And it's got Corvette on the back of the car. And right underneath where it says Corvette, there's their license plate holder. They got a personalized license plate that says vet. And it's like, how much extra money did you spend to get that personalized license plate that says vet when it says Corvette right above that? Like, we know it's a Corvette, bro. You don't have to beat it into our heads. We can see that. But it's their money. Do what they want. So this illegal alien driver from Indiana apparently wasn't paying attention. Look at this guy. Yeah, you might want to hurry up. Wasn't paying attention. And I guess there was another truck that was stopped or slowed down in the road for whatever reason. I don't know. They didn't say if he was turning or what. But anyway. So the guy swerves to miss him because he didn't see him. And that's when he hit the van head on. And I believe he killed 4 people. Now he's illegal. He got his license in Pennsylvania. So the question is, how does an illegal alien get a commercial driver's license? Which should be much harder to get than a regular driver's license. Who was he working for? Apparently they didn't do a background check on him. Because if they did, they'd have realized he was illegal and had no business driving. The insurance companies okayed him. These are the same insurance companies that will anal examine you and I as Americans. But if you're an illegal alien, give him a CDL. We don't need a background check. Don't worry about it. Just hire the guy. And who loaded this truck? Who was the shipper? That's what I would like to know. Because it's time we start holding these companies and these states and these shippers held accountable. Now, the guy did have a valid CDL apparently. Although he had no business having one, he did have one. So I don't really know if you can blame the shipper on this one. But a lot of times they don't even have a license. And a lot of places, I can tell you right now, JBS and Tyson are cracking down on that. You have to show an ID to pick up a load at these places now. Because they don't want any grief from the Trump administration. I'd like to know about this company. Did they do a background check? These horrific type crashes did not happen 30 years ago, 25 years ago. Even 20 years ago. But I saw in the early 2000s is when I first started seeing some of these foreign drivers. Mainly on the West Coast. guy's obviously going to be, well, it's going to be, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, so he's going to go to trial. At the very least, he'll be deported, but he's probably going to end up doing some prison time first. How much, I don't know. You have to understand something. To people who are, shall we say, a little more tolerant of illegal immigration, let me say this. If I were living in some crap hole country and I had a chance of sneaking to the United States, I'm not going to say I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to say that. I got to be honest. I'm not going to say that. Just like if I were hungry and somebody had a fruit stand and had a basket of apples there, I'm not saying I wouldn't steal an apple. Now, I would do both of those things knowing perfectly well that if I get caught, I'm going to suffer the consequences. I will expect to be deported, or I expect to be arrested for shoplifting. I'm not going to sit here and try to play the victim. Now, if they tell me, hey, we're going to deport you, if you want to come into this country, do it right, here's how you do it, then that's what I would do. Or try to do that in the first place. I'm sympathetic to those people. I'm sympathetic to the people who used to cross for that reason. They wanted a better life. Even the ones who came, shall we say, illegally back in the day from Mexico or South America because they wanted a better life. I'm not going to say that they should be allowed to just be, to do it. I can say I sympathize with them. And I hope that if and when they did get caught, that someone at least sat down and had a conversation with them as to how to do it legally. And I do think our immigration needs to be revised in this country. I know people who are married to immigrants who will tell you it is very, very difficult. It's not like they show on TV. You can't just marry somebody and poof, they're a citizen. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. A lot. It is not easy at all. I do think it needs to be reformed. Having said that, the people that we have crossing today, so many of them, are not here just for a better life. They're here to either grift off of the system. This guy's going to pass me. Dude, give me a chance to get going. You don't even know how fast I'm going to be driving. Whatever. Either here to grift off of the system, or they're terrorists. They're here to take over. And they will tell you that. They have no problem telling you that. We are here to take over. We are here to conquer. Get a guy like this guy who killed these people. He's here illegally. He gets a CDL. He knows what he's doing. He knows he has no business having that CDL. He knows that. It's not one of those things like, well, sure I am. I didn't know I was supposed to be legal, man. And nobody told me. somewhat happened. So I get people who are sympathetic to illegal immigrants. I get it. But these are not the people we're dealing with. We're not dealing with the immigrants of even 25 years ago. I mean, I'm sure there are some. But that's not who most of these guys are. You look at what's going on with the Somali community. You got to understand something. These people are grifters in Somalia. Somalia is where obviously the Somali pirates come from. Their whole country is built on grifters and thieves. I'm not saying all Somalis are grifters and thieves. I'm just saying, and it's sort of like the president said. You know, these countries open up their prisons and their asylums. They're not sending their best and brightest up here. They're keeping them. They don't want them going anywhere. That's not who they're sending over here. Don't let your emotions cloud your judgment and your intelligence, your brains, your logic. You use your logic, use your brain when you're thinking about a subject like this, not your heart, because your heart will fool you. That's the same heart that says, oh, she seems like a nice girl, yeah, I'll date her, or he seems like a nice guy, and then, you know, they got all those red flags and you don't want to see them. Your brain's saying, red flag, your heart's saying, oh, it's okay. At least you think I'm a, you know, some sort of ogre. I do have a heart. But I also have a brain. I'm not going to let my emotions, you know, dictate to me that it's okay when we have people out here killing Americans. You know, when you have the mayor of New York that goes to see the family of a guy who was rushing at a cop with a knife and the cop had to shoot him, and if you watch that video, that cop was very patient. He gave that guy a lot of chances to put that knife down, and the guy would not have it. I don't know if the guy was crazy, if he was high on something, or if he just wanted to die. But that was suicide by a cop. Straight up and down, suicide by a cop. I don't care how you slice it. You can have sympathy for the guy and say, well, you know, maybe he had a mental condition, and could be. But that sympathy doesn't override the fact that he would have stabbed that cop. He would have killed him. So should the cop sacrifice his life because we have sympathy for this guy's family? Should those 4 people in that van sacrifice their life because we've got some illegal alien guy over here driving a truck? Because I don't know, maybe the country he was from is a crap hole. The mayor of New York should have either stayed out of it, or he should have said, hey, you know, it's terrible what happened, But watch the body cam video. This cop gave this guy every chance in the world to put that knife down, and he just wouldn't do it. What do you do at that point? Now he's vilifying the cop. And he's the mayor of the city. He hires the police chief. He's their boss. That'd be like if I'm going down the road right here minding my own business, somebody's coming in a car, and right before they're about to pass me, they drift over my lane and hit me head on, and they die. It's not my fault. And then my boss goes to that family and says, yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, that should have never happened. Yeah. Your family member is the victim. Well, no, it is terrible. I mean, I would be devastated, but at the same time, it's not my fault. And my boss has no business going to these people and trying to imply it's my fault. Same thing there. But that's emotion. That's not logic. Logic says that's terrible, but that's self-inflicted. He should have put the knife down. Actions have consequences. I'm not one of these guys that gets on social media when I see something like that. Oh, F-A-F-O. Yeah, play stupid games. It's tragic. It really is. But it's not the cops' fault. This guy obviously was having some sort of issue. But the cop shouldn't sacrifice his life for that. And he didn't. Because if he did, he let that guy stab him. You think that's going to be the one and only person that guy's going to stab? No, he's going to try and stab other people. So the cop's not only responsibility is not only to save himself, but to take out the threat so he doesn't harm someone else as well. This is why if I'm home and somebody broke into my house, if I were by myself, I may give that guy an extra few seconds to reevaluate his life choice before I acted in a deadly force manner. Now, if my wife were there, or my grandkids or kids were there, I might not give him those few seconds. Because then it's not just him killing me, it's him killing me and other people. And then you get the gun experts who don't own a gun. And you can tell they don't own a gun because they say, I could have shot him in the leg. Do you know how difficult it is to shoot someone? Dude, this is not the movies. You're taught to hit center mass for a reason. You could be 20 foot away from somebody and fire 3 shots and miss them. Especially in the heat of the moment. Much less trying to hit them in the leg or in the arm. Anybody, let me tell you something. Here's a piece of advice. Anytime you hear see somebody get on social media when there's some sort of shooting like that, and they say they could have shot him in the arm or the leg, just understand that person has never squeezed the trigger on anything more than a water gun in their entire life. They have absolutely no idea. But they've been watching some old detective show reruns where where the private detective gets shot in the arm or the leg every week. It's like trying to shoot a tire out in a moving car. Yeah, it looks great when you're watching Dirty Harry or something, but you try that in real life. You're in a moving vehicle and you're trying to shoot the tires out of another moving vehicle. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying it's not very easy. Same thing there. In the heat of the moment, this person's moving around, and you're going to take the time to try to aim and hit them in the leg. And let me tell you something. If they are high on something, shooting them in the leg might not even slow them down. Might not even slow them down. So yeah, it's tragic. That's tragic. A lot of these illegal immigrants have sob stories they can tell you. But when they come over here and they grift off of taxpayer money, that's an FU to us. That's we're going to come over here and conquer, and we're going to take your money as well. That's an FU. That's not a, hey man, I appreciate y'all letting me over here, and I'm going to become a productive member of society. Give me a chance and you'll see. You know, when people first came over here and they came through Ellis Island back in the day, they had to prove that either A, they would not be a burden on the taxpayer, which means they were either able to work, they weren't sick, they weren't disabled, or if they were old or sick or disabled, they had a family member in the States sponsoring them that promised that they would take care of that person. That's the only way you got in. There were a lot of people turned away. A lot of them. They don't tell you that. They say, oh, we just opened the border for those white Europeans. No, we didn't just open the border. It didn't work that way. And by the way, it wasn't just white Europeans. But anybody tries to tell you that doesn't know what they're talking about. There's a lot of people out there on social media so quick to play immigration lawyer, cop, gun expert, doctor, trucking expert, whatever. The internet's full of experts. I'm the only person on social media, I think, that's not an expert on anything. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I don't know everything about anything. That works on both sides of the aisle, by the way. These experts, they're everywhere. There's no particular political party to them. I'm a pretty moderate guy. I'm a bit more libertarian, I guess, in some ways. Although, I'll be the first one to tell you the Libertarian Party is a crap show. So I don't belong to a political party, per se. Down here to Grand Island, and we'll get on I-80 and run that to Kearney, Nebraska. Then we'll turn south, go down to Holdridge, cut down that way into Kansas, down through Norton, Kansas, down through Oakley, Scott City, to Garden City, like that. It's about the best way to do it. anyway, another rant I've gone on about stuff I wasn't even going to talk about. But it's not like I have a list of things. I'm not some kind of talk show host or anything. Bit of traffic on this road in the daytime, but we're moving at a pretty good rate, so I'm not going to complain. We got to drive by that JBS in Grand Island. Well, I don't have to drive by that JBS in Grand Island, but that's the way I usually go. 9 minutes till 5. By the time we're probably about 30 minutes from Grand Island, so maybe shift change will be calming down by the time we get through there. That's the best JBS to go to, is that one in Grand Island, because it's concrete, it's not dusty or muddy or dirty, and the trailers aren't right up against each other. This one down here in Cactus, Texas is, oh my God, that's a gong show, as my Canadian friends would say. Trailers are always right up against each other. It's always dusty, or if it snows or rains, it's muddy. They crank the trailer legs way up on purpose. The yard guys do it. So it's a good foot higher than your fifth wheel is. And that's not an exaggeration. It's a good foot higher. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we've reached an hour, so I guess I'll end this. I don't know how many more videos I'm going to do between now and the time I get home. We'll see what I have time for. Like I said, it's Friday evening. I should be in Greeley by Sunday night. I don't know if I'm going to spend the night up there and leave Monday morning. I'll probably load up my Jeep and take off. It's about 8 hours from Greeley to my house. Taking a wild guess. Yeah, because it's about 6.5 from Cactus. That's about 120 miles from my house. Sun right in my face, man. It sucks driving across Nebraska in the evening. There is absolutely nothing to block that sun. It's just flat as a board through here. CR England. What's the deal with those guys, man? Every time I run up on those guys now, they're doing 63. Is CR England govern the 63 mile an hour? Somebody let me know in the comments. they slow those trucks down to 63, they're like a rolling roadblock, man. I mean, it's crazy. Especially a lot, they do a lot across Wyoming, obviously, because they're a Salt Lake City-based company. I'd fall asleep driving that slow. But every time I run up on one on the interstate, they're doing like 63 because I got that radar in this truck. And I'm just wondering if they turn their trucks down to 63 miles an hour. Shut up. Anyway, coming into Central City, Nebraska. I guess it is kind of centrally located in the state. Kind of in the middle. Makes sense. Fair enough. I say fair enough a lot. You know why? Because I've had a couple of friends from the UK I've talked to on social media, like on WhatsApp or whatever, on video, audio, and of course they say fair enough a lot. And so I just kind of picked it up, I guess. I notice I say it every once in a while. Of course, they say bro a lot. And I'm sure they picked that up from us. The saying of bro. I say bro. But I'm originally from South Louisiana. Everybody says bro down there all the time. They've been doing that for 30 years down there, saying bro. It's like calling somebody your boo. They've been saying that since I was a little kid down there. That's nothing new for them. But they steal everything from us. Our food, our culture. Hope Billie Eilish isn't eating crawfish and gumbo. Should be stealing our food. I know, the poor girl. She's threatening to sue people now because she's getting mocked so much over her stolen land comment. I'm going to hit this light red, yellow. No? Yep, there it is. I was a little early. This is the old lady that come blowing around me back there. Well, you didn't really get very far, did you, old lady? Comes an old Volvo. There's no Volvo like an old Volvo. It's hard to get through this town without hitting a light red. Even at night, it's hard. I don't know what that's about. This is a funny intersection because that's a left turn, but we all got to go left unless you make this hard right, which good luck doing that in a truck. I wouldn't try it. I'd take up the whole intersection if I did, if I had to. Just pulled right dead out in front of her. Boom, right dead out in front of her. I mean, I don't even know if he looked. He just bam, right in front. Oh well, should be alright. Anyone ever eat at these Runzas? These fast food places in Nebraska? They're only in Nebraska. Runza. Anybody ever eat there? Are they any good? I've never eaten at one. I spent a lot of time in Nebraska, but I've never eaten in a Runza. I don't know, it just doesn't sound like a, I don't know. Oh, this stupid thing. Sometimes the name of places turn me off and now I won't even try them. Come on. Crying out loud, this noise. Oh my God. Sorry, but it's like nails on a chalkboard to me, that sound. I don't know why. It's the tone of it or something. I'm telling you, I'd end up on medication if I had to keep listening to this. And I'm trying not to get too close, but like they keep slowing down up here. I'm getting a bit cranky, so I guess, yeah, I better go ahead and end this video. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.